Have you ever felt like you're navigating life with a standard map, but you're somewhere the familiar rules just don't quite fit?
Yeah, like the terrain shifted under your feet.
Exactly. So imagine a traveler, maybe totally lost, and suddenly this faint, ancient light shines on a really intricate compass, but it's not pointing north.
Okay.
It's vibrating with some kind of unseen energy, hinting at destinations way beyond our normal world. Think of that compass as an analogy for what we're diving into today, the 72 names of God.
Ah, that's a great image, a unique compass. It really sets the stage that we're exploring a different kind of tool, doesn't it, for our inner lives?
It does. And on this deep dive, we're really looking closely at this concept, the 72 names, drawing from the source material you brought. Our mission really is to get to the heart of it, to understand what makes this maybe more than just an ancient idea. Could it be like a powerful technology for the soul?
Well, for anyone out there who's felt that pull towards, exploring deeper spiritual stuff or understanding how self-transformation actually works, this offers some, really surprising angles.
And potentially profound insights, right, into inner interchange might actually happen.
Definitely.
Because the sources, they describe these 72 names as way more than just words. They're presented as a universal technology for the soul, almost like tuning forks.
Right, tuning forks designed to resonate with very specific spiritual frequencies. It's a key idea.
And what I find really compelling is this idea of direct, almost intuitive engagement. Just by looking at these 3-letter Hebrew sequences, letting your eyes rest on them, you might be starting a connection.
And that's fascinating, isn't it? This emphasis on a non-intellectual path. It suggests there's a level of our being that can respond directly to these visual forms.
Without needing maybe complex understanding first.
Exactly, bypassing that need for, lengthy study.
And here's something that really grabbed me. Apparently, these names have resurfaced after being hidden for about 2,000 years.
Wow.
The fact they're emerging now feels significant, almost like humanity's reached a point maybe in its spiritual evolution where these specific tools are needed, like a divine provision for, navigating now.
That idea of reemergence, if you think about cycles in spiritual traditions, it does suggest a potentially important moment, maybe an opportunity for a different kind of spiritual engagement that wasn't as readily available before.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? The source even hints that by tuning into these frequencies, we might proactively align our souls, maybe lessen the need for some of those really tough life lessons.
A proactive alignment.
But it begs the question, how can just looking at letters have such a profound effect?
Right, and that's the core mystery we're exploring. The source starts to unpack this by explaining that the 72 names initiate something called sympathetic transference.
Sympathetic transference, okay.
At the soul level. So think of it less like just a vibration and more like a resonance that undresses the root causes of imbalance within us, not just the surface stuff.
Like going deeper than the symptoms, you used the tuning fork analogy earlier. One vibrates, the other starts vibrating too.
Precisely.
So these 72 names are like these primordial tuning forks, and by looking at them, engaging with them, we're somehow prompting a resonant healing inside our own soul.
That's the idea, exactly.
Yeah.
And to organize these tuning forks, the source introduces the Divine Instrument Panel. This is the AYIN-BET chart.
Okay.
It's a structured grid of Hebrew letters, and each 3-letter sequence in there isn't random. It's considered a name, sometimes even an angelic force, and it carries a very specific divine attribute.
And it's not just a jumble, right? There's a cosmic logic. The first 6 names connect to Aries energy, the next 6 to Taurus, all the way through the zodiac.
Yes, exactly. This astrological connection is key. It shows these frequencies aren't isolated. They're woven into the fabric of cosmic time and energy.
Interconnected.
Deeply. And what's really interesting is the temporal precision mentioned. Each name is said to have its own window.
A window.
Yeah, like an optimal time for accessibility, specific days of the week, even specific hours within those days.
Whoa, that adds another layer. It's not static. It's dynamic, interacting with cosmic cycles, offering these peak moments for connection.
It really highlights this idea of a divinely structured system with its own rhythms, offering us these timed doorways, you could say, for a potentially more potent connection.
Okay.
And this leads us to a really powerful quote the source shares from Yehuda. He says, when this biblical code is cracked, something wonderful happens. Awesome spiritual forces are suddenly released into our souls and discharged into the world at large.
Wow. Awesome spiritual forces released. That's vivid, like opening floodgates. The source then uses another helpful analogy. It's like turning on the light in a dark room.
Mm-hmm. Such a direct metaphor.
Yeah, it suggests that sudden clarity, right? Where confusion just vanishes.
That moment of illumination. And these forces, according to the source, aren't just for, personal aha moments. They empower us to completely change our lives and absolutely transform our world.
That's a huge claim, and it contrasts this potential with just reading scripture literally, which it calls a fruitless symbol. It really hammers home that the power is in this deeper, hidden layer.
Exactly. The source is pointing to a fundamental idea in Kabbalah. The most potent truths, the real spiritual energy, are often veiled, hidden in allegory and symbols. You need to engage differently to unlock them.
Okay, so to help us connect with this more intuitively, the source gives us this beautiful allegory, the journey of a pilgrim.
Right.
Imagine someone ascending through 12 celestial gardens. Each garden matches a zodiac sign. And inside each garden, 6 sacred springs, each a divine attribute.
That's a classic parable, isn't it? An earthly story designed to point to a much deeper heavenly meaning. The pilgrim seeking sustenance from these divine springs in each cosmic garden. It's very evocative.
Totally. And the way it progresses through the zodiac, the 12 gardens, the 6 names or springs in each, it really paints a picture of a structured path, like an inner curriculum.
A step-by-step process.
Yeah, for integrating all these different aspects of the divine, almost like tuning into those cosmic rhythms we talked about.
And the key thing to grasp, the source emphasizes, is that these attributes, these qualities, the names embody, they aren't external things we need to go out and get.
They're already inside us.
They're latent potentials within our soul. So when you resonate with a name, you're essentially waking up and amplifying that quality that's already part of you.
And as a guide for this inner journey, this pilgrimage, the source provides a divine map, like a table.
Yes, a table detailing all 72 names, how to pronounce them, their zodiac links, their main attributes. It's like having an itinerary for this soul journey.
That sounds incredibly useful. It gives structure to something that could feel pretty abstract otherwise.
Absolutely. It allows for a much more focused, intentional engagement. You can look at names related to the current cosmic energy, or maybe areas you personally want to work on.
Okay, let's make this more concrete. Can we look at a couple of examples from these celestial gardens?
Sure. So in the Aries garden, the first one, you encounter Vihuaya, associated with will and new beginnings.
Okay, like courage, inner resolve.
Exactly, tapping into that. And then there's Sittul, linked to the construction of the universe worlds. It suggests a sense of divine order, maybe the power to consciously shape our reality, like accessing the inner architect.
Interesting. What about Taurus?
Moving into the Taurus garden, we find a Hitoaya representing patience, a vital quality, right? That reminder that deep growth often takes time.
Definitely need that sometimes.
And Ketetel, symbolizing divine blessings, encouraging us to be more open, more receptive to the unseen grace that might be around us.
Okay, Gemini.
In the Gemini garden, Hariel is said to purify our perception, help us see things more clearly. And Levia offers glimpses into hidden truths. It's like fine-tuning our inner vision.
And Cancer.
Cancer garden brings Nelkal, igniting a thirst for knowledge, a kind of spiritual curiosity. And Melahel offers a capacity for healing for ourselves, maybe for others too.
Leo, the lion.
Ascending to Leo, Elhel connects to deeper spiritual understanding, even what's called magic, perhaps more direct experiences of divine intervention. And Rael helps break free from limitations, those self-imposed walls.
Virgo.
And Virgo, Lekabel sharpens the intellect, aids discernment. And Melodel emphasizes integrating inner work with outer action, bringing spirit into everyday life.
That seems important. Libra, balance.
Libra garden, yes.
Yeah.
Annual helps dissolve discord, break negative patterns, and Milkel empowers righteous leadership, contributing to harmony.
Scorpio, known for transformation.
Very much so. In Scorpio, Yellowhail is called a karmic warrior, helping resolve past stuff, and Ariel deepens intuition, seeing beyond the surface.
Sagittarius,
Yeah.
the archer.
Moving to Sagittarius, Hiasaya offers remedies for suffering, like a universal balm. And Nanael helps attune us to spiritual communication, receiving messages.
Capricorn, structure.
In the Capricorn garden, Mibahaya brings intellectual clarity. And Mibasile focuses on healing deep inner wounds.
Aquarius, connection.
Yes, Aquarius garden. Urabel fosters connection and harmony in relationships. And Adiel brings understanding of the interconnectedness of everything.
Wow. And finally, Pisces, the end of the cycle.
Indeed. In the mystical Pisces garden, EIL signifies transformation towards the sublime. Jabamia represents alchemy, transmuting energies, and Miwahaya symbolizes endings and rebirth, that whole cycle of life.
It really does feel like a complete journey of inner development. The source stresses that by engaging with each name, the pilgrim, the individual, evolves, reaches new levels, reveals that hidden light inside.
And this naturally brings us to the underlying framework. Kabbalah. The source introduces Kabbalah as the esoteric heart of Jewish mysticism.
The deep inner meaning.
Exactly, focusing on the hidden meanings in sacred texts. It's fundamentally a map of consciousness and creation.
Right, and central to Kabbalah is Ein Sof, the infinite.
The infinite, unknowable source of everything, beyond our full grasp, ultimate potentiality.
And from Ein Sof come the Sephirah, these 10 emanations.
Yes, the 10 Sephirah. Divine attributes are qualities representing different facets of God's nature. They act as channels for divine energy. Think of them as the blueprints of reality, wisdom, understanding, compassion, strength, and so on.
Okay, so if the Sephirot are these big, fundamental divine expressions, how do the 72 names fit in?
Well, the source suggests they're like specific keys or addresses within that Sephirotic structure.
Ah, more specific points within the bigger map.
Exactly. Each name can be seen as a unique pathway, or maybe a very refined expression of the qualities within the Sephirah. Engaging with a name lets us tap into very specific aspects of that divine flow.
Now, a really important concept in Kabbalah is tikkun olam, repairing the world. How does our personal work with the 72 names connect to that bigger picture?
The source explains it beautifully. The inner work, the soul-level repair we do through the names, is directly linked to this collective mission.
How so?
By aligning ourselves with these divine frequencies, we become clearer channels for that divine energy to flow through us and into the world. So our actions, compassion, justice, righteousness contribute to healing and balance on a larger scale. Inner harmony fuels outer harmony.
It's that idea again, isn't it, that our inner state and our actions have real, tangible effects spiritually and maybe even materially.
Precisely.
So this practice isn't just navel-gazing. It's presented as an active contribution. The source calls humanity a divine microcosm, reflecting the cosmos.
Exactly. And to understand how the names affect us even more deeply, Kabbalah talks about 5 layers of the soul.
5 layers, okay.
Each representing a different level of consciousness, from the more physical up to the most refined. Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chaya, and Yehida.
Can you give us a quick sense of those? Like, Nefesh is?
Nefesh is often seen as the basic life force, instincts, physical desires. Ruach is more the emotional realm, the moral compass.
Okay.
Neshama is the higher intellect, divine awareness, connection to wisdom. Chaya is an awareness of the divine life force itself, vitality. And Yehida is considered the highest unity, oneness with the source.
Wow. And the 72 names, as these frequencies, they interact with these different layers.
They're said to resonate with and activate these different soul levels. It's like they're tuning different aspects of our being, progressively illuminating higher consciousness, unlocking that divine potential within.
Like tuning different instruments within the orchestra of the soul.
That's a great way to put it. It's a gradual awakening, bringing latent capacities into conscious awareness.
The source uses parables so much, even drawing parallels to Jesus' teachings. What is it about stories about parables that works so well for this kind of spiritual teaching?
Well, a parable, as the source defines it, is an earthly story with a heavenly meaning. It uses the familiar to shed light on the unfamiliar, the deeper spiritual truth. It makes the abstract more concrete.
And they have key features, right? Comparisons, a single main point, realism, conveying spiritual truth.
Exactly. And crucially, parables both reveal and conceal. They don't just hand you the answer. They invite you, the listener, to engage, to use your intuition to unlock the meaning, which lines up perfectly with how Kabbalistic wisdom is often grasped.
So it kind of bypasses just the intellect and speaks more directly to the soul, engages imagination, intuition, makes these frequencies feel more real.
Precisely. And they have a potent effect. They can inspire that longing for good, maybe a healthy caution about negative paths. They're transformative tools, not just information.
The source gives more examples, right? Like for Leilahel, the light of understanding.
Yes, the image of a scholar moving beyond just memorizing facts to a truly interconnected understanding, seeing the whole web.
And for HAA, patience.
The parable of the farmer, planting the seed, tending it, but then trusting the unseen process, the divine timing for growth. It teaches patient perseverance.
These really do help ground the concepts, makes these inner dimensions feel less theoretical and more I don't know, actionable.
Absolutely. They bridge the conceptual and the experiential.
Okay, so for someone listening, maybe feeling drawn to this, what's a practical way to start engaging with this divine instrument panel?
The source suggests starting simply, a consistent practice of just looking at the Hebrew letters of the names, visualizing them in your mind.
Just gazing at them.
Gazing, contemplating, and consulting that divine map, the table, could be helpful. See which names relate to the current time astrologically or what qualities you feel you need to focus on.
And maybe focus on one name for a day or a week.
Yes, in a quiet space with clear intention, that can help foster a deeper resonance.
Now, the source also mentions this idea of merit to connect. That sounds important. It's not just passive looking then.
That's a crucial point. Accessing the deeper power seems linked to this merit. And merit is tied directly back to Tikkun Olam, repairing the world through our ethical conduct.
So compassion, justice, righteousness, our actions matter.
They matter deeply. Think of merit as aligning your soul's vibration with these higher frequencies. Practices like self-reflection, mindfulness, forgiveness, service to others, they all help build this readiness, this alignment.
So our inner development and our outward actions are totally intertwined with our ability to connect to these energies.
They're presented as intrinsically linked, yes. And the potential for transformation, remember that Yehuda Berg quote, is profound.
Changing lives, transforming the world.
Through consistent intentional engagement. The source suggests this practice leads to ongoing revelation, a deeper realization of the endless light, activating those higher soul levels, moving towards that union with the divine.
The source brings back that pilgrim image at the end, doesn't it? Returning from the gardens, but changed.
Yes, not lost anymore. Walking lighter, seeing clearer, heart more harmonious. They become, in a way, a living testament to that hidden light. And by being transformed, they contribute to the world healing.
It's a beautiful image, not a final destination, but a continuous spiral upwards.
A continuous spiral of revelation and becoming.
Okay, so let's try and pull the main threads together. Key takeaways. The 72 names of God are presented as these potent spiritual frequencies.
Rooted in Kabbalah and the Sephirot.
Offering a unique way for soul-level healing, which connects to the bigger purpose of Tikkun Olam, repairing the world.
Right, and the main way to engage is through direct contemplation. Visualization.
And our ability to connect deeply is nurtured by our merit, our ethical actions, our inner state.
That sums it up well. And for you listening, hopefully this deep dive has given you a solid foundation for understanding what could be a really transformative tool for your own journey.
We definitely encourage you to sit with this, reflect on what we've explored, maybe look into that divine map idea more. Ask yourself, which name resonates right now? How does this concept of merit connect with my own path?
And maybe this final thought. Could it be that the ancient light, that intricate compass we started with, maybe there aren't external things you have to find?
Maybe their capacity is already inside us.
Exactly. Lying dormant, waiting to be awakened. And perhaps the 72 names offer a unique, direct way to unlock that inner divine guidance.
A powerful idea to ponder. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive.